move it over just a little bit. I mean, this way.
Yeah, get all your face in there.
Now there's just empty space. Okay, we're good?
Your mom's empty space.
Okay, we're good.
Hey, we'll talk about space in this episode.
Whoa. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 4?
Episode 1, dude.
No, we're not doing time travel jokes. Okay,
we are doing time travel.
Well, whatever episode this is, or wherever you're at, see, you're watching this from the future because we're filming this in the past, so you're kind of looking into the past. Whoa, but we're filming this in the present. This is the present for us, but you're seeing this in the past.
Is it, though?
This is the present right now, yeah.
Not anymore, it's not.
Okay, whatever.
There is no universal now, Josiah.
Isn't there?
Oh, that's one of my topics.
Oh, we'll get to that. Anyway, I picked this topic. I'm really excited about it. It is so cool. So we're going to talk about, well, first I'm going to talk about the real science behind it. Then I want to talk about the different theories for like how it works possibly. And then the most important part, the ethical questions that arise when you start, like, if it's possible, you know what I mean?
I was not informed we were doing ethics, but I think I can whip something up for that.
Oh, yeah, totally. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about, as far as we know, there is no way to time travel right now, except sort of through time dilation. Did this come up in your research?
It is all through time dilation, you're right.
Yeah, okay, which, as far as we know, only works to kind of go forward in time.
Wow, dude, you were spot on. You just stole, like, everything I was going to say.
Well,
got it.
Yeah, okay, so...
Done, dude. Throwing this thing away.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't take notes.
Yeah.
So I'm not relying on it. But anyway, so time dilation is basically, like, if you could actually speed up matter, this is the same way that, particle accelerators work. They speed up matter, and it kind of makes it go forward in the future a little bit. So particle accelerators are these things that speed up particles to make them last longer, because these particles that are only in existence for like a few microseconds. Go ahead.
If you want to listen to this episode on SoundCloud, you can.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I'll have to put an annotation like at the very beginning.
Yeah.
To that link.
I think we totally skipped the intro and everything, dude. You're just like digging way into this already.
Yeah, check out our first episode if you don't want to know what the show is about.
If you don't want to know.
Check out the SoundCloud page. You have all our episodes, but you can only listen to like the most recent 3, I think.
Yeah, dude, I saw in the email, it was like, you've uploaded too much, the following videos will be hidden. And it was like all 3 of our past ones. I was like, cool.
Yeah, because it goes by hours.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 3 hours or something like that. But anyway, yeah, so check out those things if you just want to listen to this. Okay, so back to time dilation. It works for it. So scientists think that if we ever actually create some kind of a machine that actually works to make people move in time, it would just be forward. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you wouldn't be able to go backward.
I think you need, because everyone here did not study and is not an expert on this, I think you need to explain how time dilation works for the people.
It basically, like I said, it's the same way particle accelerators work. It just if you speed up the movement of an object, then it's essentially slowing down time for that that matter that's moving at the higher rate of speed.
And why is that?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
Well, can you explain that?
Yeah. Basically, there's as we all know in physics and cosmology and stuff, there's the speed of light is the fastest thing possible, and we cannot go beyond that. And so the speed of light acts as like this maximum speed that the universe does not allow anything to go beyond. And so when things start getting really fast, like close to the speed of light, the laws of physics have to actually slow that thing down so it cannot physically pass that speed because the laws do not allow for that. That's the theory anyways. But we've proven that, as you were saying with particle accelerators, where we have these particles that go like a very, very small fraction of a second for their lifetimes, and then we speed them up and their life lasts longer. We've proven that that's how it works.
Right, okay, but why does speeding it up make it why does it
Okay.
Why is it moving forward in time?
It's not moving forward. It's actually just getting slowed down.
Right. Time. The relative time for itself is slower.
Yeah, but everything around it's still going the same speed that whatever the time is around it. Basically, I think the example was if you get a vehicle that's going near light speeds, right? And you have someone in it, and that person starts running down the vehicle, let's say it's a train or something, that person is actually gaining speed because they're already going near light speed, and so if they're running, they're going even faster, and so they could theoretically break the speed of light if they're doing that, and so that's why time needs to slow down inside the thing in order to allow it, because nothing can go beyond the speed of light. And if we break the speed of light and we break that law, then everything's just like messed up anyways, and that's basically how our reference point for everything involving time travel is that we have the speed of light as our constant.
So this, so this is actually, you could actually do this. Like, it's not like crazy out there. Like if people in orbit around the Earth are like traveling just slightly faster than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And so time for them is just like a tiny, like they've gained like, I don't know what it is, like if it's a minute or just like a few seconds.
It's not even a whole second.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so they've gained like a tiny bit of time is like slowed down for a little bit for the time.
Astronauts are technically time travelers.
Right. So that's the only way that humans could, that as of right now, that humans could actually change up the way that time is moving. Okay, so then the other thing, time is also related to gravity, in that the greater the gravity, the slower the time. Is that right? Or is it the opposite?
Well, it's...
Did you watch that documentary on YouTube?
Which one?
The National Geographic's one with Michio Kaku?
Oh, yeah. I also watched some Stephen Hawking stuff, too.
Okay, cool. Oh, anyway, they were talking about how, like, time is affected by gravity, and if I'm not mistaken, like, this, like, the greater the gravity, the slower time is? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I have this statement on it. Actually, I think it's from that documentary. It says, because mass bends space-time, as you all know how space-time works.
Yeah, everybody knows.
Matter, I mean, everyone watching this show should know how space-time works. Matter drags on the flow of time like rocks in a river. I think that's the example they used.
Yeah.
Like, you have matter, and the time has to, like, warp around it, and so it's going slower. Yeah.
Well, the analogy that I like is like that, like, space-time is sort of like a stretchy blanket.
Right.
And like if you put some weight in there, it's gonna like stretch the space-time down. And then so like when things move, if something's gonna move close to it, it's gonna get slowed down by that gravity because it's like bending that way.
And this is proven by the astronaut thing you were saying. If they're in orbit, they are farther away from the Earth, therefore the mass and gravity and stuff is pulling on them less, and that's why time is slightly different for them. Yeah. Which is why we need to adjust our satellites for GPS and stuff.
Right. And you can actually measure this with atomic clocks. Like they can put atomic clocks like in crevices in the ocean, and then obviously like on a skyscraper. And then, like, the clocks will be, like, running at different rates of speed.
It's very, very, very small difference. But, like, over 100 years, it's, like, not even 1 second, I think.
Yeah, well, on Earth. But, like, if you start talking about, like, really, like, bigger planets, you know.
And when you start talking about black holes and stuff, when you get certain distances of black holes and stuff, I mean, being on the edge of the event horizon is how we get time dilation, in a sense, right? So.
Right. And so there's speculation that, like, you know, at the center of a black hole, it's like crushing matter beyond existence. So that's like extreme gravity. So who knows, like time might not even be...
Mm-hmm. Time might not even be what?
It might not even be moving in that area. You know what I mean?
Because the
gravity is too strong that like it slows time down to a halt. And then so whenever things get close, they like can't exist. Matter has to exist in time.
Mm-hmm.
And since there's like no time in that area, this is just a theory that I came up with just now.
Yeah, what
Like things can't exist outside of time, and since time is not moving, like right at the center, then it just like vanishes from existence.
Okay, that seems like really crazy, and I think you're wrong on that.
I just made that up.
I'm pretty confident that the space-time continuum does not allow for time to completely stop, ever. It could be moving very, very, very slowly. I do not think it allows for it to stop. I don't think so.
Like a rip in the fabric of space-time?
Okay, a rip is just like throwing everything we know out the window.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, it's just a theory that it'll take a long time to be proven right. Just kidding. Okay.
You need to spark that ignition, and then people need to put it through the test.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any other ideas on like real time travel before we get into like crazy theoretical stuff?
Oh, there's I have a bunch of mentions on different machines and stuff. You watched the same documentary I did though, so I just wrote down the same stuff about it.
Well, just run through them.
First of all, time as we know it is the fourth dimension because everything you know is everything we know is 3D, but that's 3 dimensions of space. The fourth dimension would be time. That's why space-time is one thing. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Black holes are so massive and store so much time that they are natural time machines. Blah 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 blah. If you're next to a black hole, you can go through time dilation and come back to Earth, and you will have gone to the future.
Cool.
The speed of light acts as universal speed limit. Okay.
Lay it on me.
Cosmic strings.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember this. Tell our viewers what that is.
Okay, cosmic strings, which are strings of energy in space with large mass that are left over from the Big Bang. And they could allow for time travel to the past if 2 of them were to intersect, like, I think it's perpendicularly or whatever.
Like this?
Yeah, I believe so. But it's like really complicated and...
Yeah, I kind of got lost in that.
Cosmic strings are completely hypothetical. We don't know if they exist, and they're very elusive. We have yet to find any. They're basically like black holes were like 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, but I believe a guy did prove that like if they exist and they work in the way that we think they do, then if they did cross, then that would allow for time travel.
Right.
But it was all based on like hypothetical concepts.
And they also mentioned many problems with the theory, which I wrote down. If the strings were to warp space-time enough to create a full circle, which is what you need in order to travel back to the past, the whole area would actually just collapse into a black hole because of the mass issues and stuff. And they also said it would take the mass and resources of an entire galaxy to traverse back into time like this. So we don't exactly have the ability to do that.
Oh yeah, I remember them saying that, but I was like, would you need to construct things in order to capitalize on that?
Well,
was that what they were saying? Like what would you need to spend those resources on? Like
basically
just finding it?
A ship, I think.
Okay. So
You know, like the theory with time dilation is if we could build a ship massive enough, the ship would have to be freaking enormous, like I guess the size of a galaxy or whatever, in order to have enough fuel and everything to get to near speed of light in order for time dilation to happen. Okay. I think in order to go back, we would need a ship just as large, and we would have to find one of those, what are they called? Cosmic strings intersecting. And so I think that's how it would happen. And the reason that the ship is even a more crazier theory is because... Like, yeah, we can do it, but...
air quotes for those of you just listening.
Yes, there were air quotes. As mass or matter moves, it's harder to... Okay, let me see the wording on this. As it moves, it gains weight, basically. Like, if you toss a ball into the air, it's gaining weight. So if you're trying to get a ship to move to near speeds of light, it's gaining more weight the faster you're going.
You need exponentially more energy the closer you get to light speed. Yeah.
Which is why these, like, time machines with time dilation ships are just, like, nuts huge.
Unless we could harness the power of the sun.
Well, that's
No, I'm just kidding.
you're joking, but that's another thing is they were saying we need basically a source of infinite energy. When once we get that, we'll be able to do it.
Oh, like a one of those engines, internal. What's it called? Where like, it's like an engine. I just watched this on Snowpiercer. Have you seen that movie?
You told me to watch it, and I did not.
Oh, it's so good. Well, like the train runs on an engine that's like eternal, and there's like a name for it, and I can't remember. Okay, anyway, I'll think of it later. Okay, so, all right. So, anything else on actual time travel before we get into hypothetical time travel?
Do you want to get into why time travel to the past does not work?
Well, I do.
Okay.
That sort of is sort of getting into like the hypothetical situations that come up. So
Okay.
I guess let's talk about it now. Okay, so the reason why time travel to the past probably isn't possible.
It's not possible.
Well, it's not possible right now, but
Right.
the reason that why it probably won't ever be possible is because it can create certain paradoxes that exist, like, and so the classic one is the grandfather paradox. Did this come up in your?
I mean, everyone knows it, right?
I don't know. So, like, let's say you go back in time and you accidentally or intentionally kill your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you would never be born if you did that. Which means you wouldn't exist to be able to kill your grandfather. But if you do kill him, then that would mean that you wouldn't exist, and that means that he would live,
Mm-hmm.
which means that you would be born.
And the main
It just creates this big loop.
right, and the main issue with paradoxes is, again, it's widely accepted in physics and cosmology that every cause happens before the effect. And so if you were to go back in time and create this paradox, you would have an effect happening before a cause and all these issues, and we basically just, like, if you break that rule, same with like the speed of light rule, everything breaks down and all our laws are screwed up and nothing
Right,
works.
so the essential problem is you could potentially stop the cause of something from happening, which would in turn mean that the effect doesn't exist in the future, which could create this paradox loop.
But the effect would be stopping the cause, which creates the effect, and it doesn't.
Right. So if you kill your grandfather, then you would cease to exist, which means you don't get to kill your grandfather, which means you would exist.
Mm-hmm.
But if you kill him, then you could. It's crazy. So but I found there's a theory to the solution for this, which would be that.
It's the only theory that works with paradoxes.
It basically states that paradoxes can't happen.
Right.
Because basically, if anyone ever does travel into the past, you're already living in your present has already been created by past actions. Even if somebody did travel to the past and change things, you're already living in that changed reality right now.
In a separate universe, would you say?
Possibly. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that in a second. But basically, there's a theory the theory is just that the reality you're living in now either has already been affected by anybody time traveling. So if you exist, that means that they didn't do anything to hinder your existence, basically.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or to stop the creation of you, basically.
Right.
So I don't know. It still kind of creates.
If you're of the belief that there's a single timeline, though, then that's definitely a paradox, and that cannot happen whatsoever. Like, I don't think there's any rules that can allow for you to just say paradoxes can't happen. You can kill your grandfather, and you're still present because those things already happened technically. Because you're on the same timeline, you're just jumping to another spot on the timeline.
Right.
Which I don't think that works. I think there has to be multiple universes to make that. How does that make sense?
Right. Okay. So let's talk about that.
Multiple universes?
Yes.
This is getting really out there.
Well. I mean, but
there are many different theories on this. There's like 10 or 12 like different really solid theories on this, but none of them are like really that close to being the same.
But what I'm saying is, I'm going to talk about something different but related.
Okay.
Like basically how time travel would work if it were possible. Different possibilities of how it could work. Could you give me that whiteboard right there? So, so one of the big questions is like, if you travel,
we might need this for this episode.
yeah, if you travel back in time, are you going to be?
Did I just mess things up?
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm sorry. Okay.
The question that arises is like, if you travel back in time, are you going to be the self that you were at that time? You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say I travel back to exactly 1 year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Will I be myself? Will I be myself
Younger.
in my 1 year younger body?
I mean, this is all hypothetical, but I don't think the laws of physics allow for that. Like, what would explain that? What would be the reasoning behind that?
That's true. Okay, so there would be like my present self, but then there would also exist my 1 year younger self.
I guess, because what would happen here is you go back, and if there's this theory that I had this theory that maybe in the universe there could only be one of you existing at a time, but then creates all these issues of which one gets to exist there and which one doesn't.
Exactly.
So there's a problem there. You had so little left to go and you still grabbed that.
Well, it's gonna be cleaner.
Okay.
Okay, so
for all you SoundCloud listeners, he's about to draw on a whiteboard, so this is gonna screw everything up. But you'll figure it out.
Like, okay, you could have one timeline going, right, in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then, okay, let's say you're here, and then you travel, let's say this is 1 year prior. Okay? So you go back in time a year. You're gonna have you from this area. Okay, right? And then you already existed 1 year ago. So there's gonna be two of you now, right?
Theoretically, yeah.
Am I right?
I mean, yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
Well, see, yeah, there would have to be, because what if I travel back before I was born? Then I wouldn't just cease to exist, right?
Exactly. I mean, well, I just like this whole theory that you would be younger. I just don't understand it at all. Like, I don't see where any physics or biology or anything would allow for that at all. Like, how does that make sense?
Your present day memories going back into your older mind? Yeah.
You already exist. Your history of what you used to be like and stuff doesn't necessarily, isn't encoded in your DNA or whatever, so it wouldn't, automatically ungrow you.
Right, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you're saying that, so if you did travel back in time to a previous point in time where you did exist, then essentially two people would exist.
Yeah, I guess it would have to, yeah.
With the same DNA, right?
Right.
Okay. So if that's true, then that would mean that at each, every moment in time is constantly happening all the time.
There's a problem here, though.
Why?
Okay. Wait, so are you saying if every moment's happening at all times, are you saying there's just one timeline or there's multiple?
Let's just say there's one.
There's one? Okay,
yeah.
There's a problem there.
Okay, what is it?
Let's say you go back 50 years or whatever, right? You go back 50 years and you're there, your grandpa and your father are there or whatever, but you're not, right? Well, you being there, you just sort of created matter being there that wasn't there before. Because in order to create you through your birth later down the road, they used matter and energy and stuff to create you, but now you're going to the past and you're going to be there where matter was not there before.
Well, okay, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. The same problem exists even if you go back to a time
where you were alive.
Yeah,
I know. I was just referencing. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, but I see your point. Although the matter that is making up you right now technically has existed 50 years ago.
But you're duplicating matter, and you can't do that.
Unless that's the same particles that are making up my body right now
Mm-hmm.
are going to form.
And so they would just disappear elsewhere?
Essentially. And it would probably be unnoticeable. I mean, it's not like somebody would be eating a burger, like in 1950.
Right.
And then the burger would disappear. Like it would
the
be
matter
like,
would all come from different places and
yeah,
stuff.
tiny bits from different places, which I still see what you're saying. It's still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that doesn't happen, then there's no matter for me either.
We don't know of any rules that allow for... We would have to figure that out and go back and see how it works, because there's no rules that would be like, well, if you go back in time, then the universe accounts for that and takes matter from different locations to create you.
Exactly. So
even though you already exist there. That's weird.
Right. Okay, so now, but if you use the theory that you are already existing in that, like, our present has already been affected by any time traveling that's gone on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
Which would mean that, like, if let's say I was going to travel back 50 years ago,
mm-hmm.
then, like, that already happened.
Does
that solve the matter problem?
If it's all on the same timeline?
Yeah. Like, that already happened.
So is there, like, a universal constant of matter throughout the entire timeline as opposed to at one point in time?
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Would that account... Does that kind of... It doesn't necessarily fix that problem of matter just appearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the matter wouldn't necessarily be appearing, it'd just be transferring to a different point in time. So if you're saying the matter is like, it's all through here, instead of just all matter is right here, all matter is right here, it's all through here, then I guess that does sort of solve the problem.
Okay, problem solved. We can travel back in time. Yeah, right.
It's not how this works.
Okay, now the other theory is, let's say there's another theory that anytime you go back in time, so let's say I'm here in the present and I go back in time, I'm going to basically a parallel timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of going back here, I'm actually going back here to this point. So it's seemingly the same past that I know, but now I've created a new timeline, new parallel timeline that's now going to be affected by the actions that I take in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, let's say I go back and kill baby Hitler at this point, right? This is baby Hitler's birthday.
Punch him.
Yeah. Let's say this is Hitler's birthday right here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm actually creating a new timeline, and now this one is going to play out with baby Hitler being dead.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's still going to exist.
Right.
But I can't get back to this one. I have to live in this new one now.
Okay.
So when I go forward, now I'm jumping forward to this spot.
Wait, you said the original timeline doesn't exist anymore?
No, it does. I just can't get there. If it does or doesn't.
You could go back, right?
What do you mean?
Okay, you're going down to the new timeline to kill baby Hitler, and then you're like, all right, he's gone, and then you go back up.
Yeah, but when I jump forward back in time, then I'm going forward on the new timeline I've created.
If you're going forward, because forward doesn't have to apply by the paradox issue, so you would just like time dilate forward as opposed to creating a new timeline. So
I create a new one when I go back.
But not when you go forward, because through forward you're just time dilating.
Right.
Whoa.
So essentially, but here's the problem: if I kill baby Hitler, that probably creates a grandfather paradox. Because that was 70 years ago or so, and so my parents probably never meet up, and America is probably totally different and stuff.
Exactly.
You know? And so I probably never get born, but do I still exist in if I go to the future that's been affected by me killing baby Hitler, Well, when I get there, would I just cease to exist?
No, I think you still would exist because the events of history have stated that you magically appeared there, and so then you're still existing there. You know what I mean?
What? Say that again?
Okay, so you go there, kill baby Hitler, and then you move forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, history has shown that you magically, air quotes, appeared in the past timeline, and so if you move forward, then you physically will be there, but the other you from that timeline might not necessarily be there.
Oh, like anything that I did in my original timeline. I wouldn't have taken those actions anymore.
The second you might not be born, but you will be born because, I mean, the second you...
Yeah, because I was born in this timeline.
Right, you were born in like 93 or something, right? So,
yeah.
So you were born here, you jump here, right?
Yeah.
And
then when I jump forward to the future, after killing baby Hitler...
The version of you that would naturally be born in this timeline isn't necessarily born, but you were still there because history states that you magically appeared to kill baby Hitler.
Right, well that wouldn't be in the history books because no one would know who Hitler is.
Right, but if we're seeing time as a fourth dimension, then there should be records and stuff of it, right? If time is like a...
Why would there be records of a baby dying
okay, shut up,
in
dude.
the 1800s?
But what I'm saying is you can measure time, right?
Right.
So they can measure that you appeared there at some point. You appeared in space at that time.
I see what you're saying. I cannot see this whiteboard on the camera.
Yeah.
Is it showing up?
I think it is.
Okay.
We have that little bar thing in the way.
Okay, so it's there.
Pointing on a camera is so impossible, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. There we go.
I hope it's showing up. Anyway, so we've got that. Any other thing? Oh, here's another problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is getting really complicated here, but so I travel back. Let's say I travel back in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I create this new timeline.
Right.
I kill baby Hitler, and now I've affected the next 60 years. So then I go back to my present, but my present is now been affected by that new timeline, right?
Right.
And so let's say, oh crap, I don't like the way this turned out.
So you go back and you create a new timeline.
So I go back in time, yeah, and so I go back and create a third timeline.
You're not necessarily creating the timelines, though. They could just be there.
It could just be changing.
I mean, there could be an infinite
changing
number of timelines, and you're just jumping to them. You're not creating them.
Right. I'm just using that phrase for the purposes of this discussion. But so let's say,
that's way too low. Yeah.
Okay, let's say I travel back again. Do I see myself? Do I see myself the first time I traveled back in time? You see what I'm saying?
It depends.
Like, do I see this guy? Do I see this guy now in the... Yeah.
Is there like there would have to be like a universal constant timeline that's the one that's like auto set before anyone time travels, right?
No.
In order to allow for that to happen. Otherwise, you would see yourself, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would, because see, I'm traveling back in time. I'm traveling back on the timeline that I already created.
Right.
Like I'm traveling I'm back from the second timeline. So would I see myself there killing baby Hitler and be like, "Hey, whoa.
Yes.
We don't like the way this turns out. Let's go ahead and not do this."
Yes, because there is no universal constant timeline.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So there is no universal constant timeline, so you would be seeing yourself because...
So I would see myself killing baby Hitler and I would be able to convince him to stop.
I think so, yeah.
Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because every time you... I had it a second ago. Every time you jump back, you're just technically jumping back into the history. Because when you use a time machine, you're not creating a history. You can't create the history that you already went to. You're just jumping back in history, which means it's trying to jump back into your same timeline, but it can't, so it's creating a new one. Right?
Right.
Because you can't create your own history with a time machine.
Sure. Why not?
If you could create your own history with the time machine, then you could just go back to the original timeline and be like, just glad I didn't screw that up.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah. But what I'm saying, okay, so this gets into the...
You would create a universe if you could create your own history, and that's why you can't make it. That's why time machines can't do that.
Well, you might be able to because, like, you just wouldn't be able to get back to like the universe where you don't travel, you know, you don't travel back in time. But essentially, yeah, every time you travel back in time, you're kind of creating a new timeline, essentially.
But you can never go back to the original timeline or the one before. You can't go to the layer one before either.
So you're always living in whatever you have affected. You're living in the world that you affected. You're living on the timeline that you affected.
Right.
Yeah. But all I'm saying is, so this the reason that I brought that up is because time travel, it brings up a few ethical questions because, like, it basically comes down to what Peter Parker's uncle said to him. You know, I mean, with great power comes great responsibility. If that's true, and we have the power to travel back in time, we basically have the power to right every single wrong that has ever happened. Essentially. Do we not?
I mean, I guess we do.
Well, actually, that depends.
This is why it's not possible, though.
Why?
I mean, you've heard Stephen Hawking's thing about how he hosted a party for time travelers and no one appeared. There's a reason we have no time travelers in our timeline.
Maybe they just decided to not use it.
What do you mean?
Like,
are you saying that maybe our timeline just hasn't been affected yet because people, like, let's assume there's an infinite amount of timelines and there's like 300 billion of them that are exactly the same as this one because no time travelers have gotten that far because they didn't need to because they already created the perfect one?
Yeah.
I guess, sure.
Well, I mean, man, this is hurting my brain. But, okay, let's talk about this, essentially. Let's get back to my point about great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Do you feel better?
A little bit.
Okay. So, like, okay, what responsibilities do we have if we do have the power to go back in time? I mean, do we have the responsibility to stop every car crash?
No.
The
question right here is, like, morals. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Is it morally correct to fix everything?
Yeah, is it or no? I don't know.
We probably should have done the episode on morals before we did this, huh?
Yeah, maybe so. But I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, like, how many people have died unjustly? You know what I mean?
Well,
or been in Britain, they exonerate people from like 200 years ago.
What do you mean?
Like they like the Queen or whatever, Parliament or whatever, like they pardon people that have been dead for like 100 years.
Right.
They're like, we killed you because you thought the Earth was round. Sorry about that. Like, it's just a gesture.
Right.
But I mean, they do officially pardon people. Sometimes talking about people like that, you know, like.
Well.
I mean, do we have a responsibility to do that?
I don't think so. I think that Spider-Man quote is wrong here. Because what I think would happen is.
Well, it's true.
Sure.
We're just asking to what extent do we follow that through.
Okay. Let's assume in this universe
that we have the ability
it's just you time traveling. Because if you have other people, then all these moral issues are weirdly created and stuff. Yeah. If it's just you that's time traveling, then who's to say that any morals are wrong? Like, can you not just create the universe where you are king and have all the money and women and control everything? And there's nothing wrong with that because you created it and you're not negatively affecting anyone from your old timeline, which you have feelings and empathy for, but you don't have feelings and empathy for these people because they're from a different timeline and they're just like robots to you?
Could you explain a little bit about how that happened? Like, are you saying, like, go back in time to, like, the first humans and tell them that you're basically God?
Is
that what you're saying? Is that what you're talking about?
You don't have to. You can just, so You go back in time, you kill Hitler. You go forward in time, you're like, oh, I don't like how this happened. You go back in time, you get the guy to stop. You stop yourself.
You stop your.
And then you do.
Self.
Then you go forward in time to another point in time. Let's say JFK or something. You stop that. And you test all these. You test all these possibilities, and eventually you start. You start charting it out and figuring everything out. And you're like, okay, this will cause this. This will cause this. This will cause this, and I can stop all these things and create all these things in order to create the perfect universe alignment for me to become the essentially ruler of this universe, because I can set it up. I have infinite amount of possibilities, so I can eventually set it up where I can just rule everything. I just have to figure it out how to do it.
Oh, okay. So just through trial and error,
exactly,
you come up with your perfect. You could come up with your perfect world.
Well, I mean,
for yourself, like not the objectively perfect world, but like your perfect thing, right?
Right. I think an issue there is you don't actually have infinite time to do that, because you're technically still aging as you do this, because it's not.
Yeah, because it's not affecting you.
Exactly.
But you could travel to the future.
Yeah,
where
forward time travel would, yeah.
Where they perfected like human life and stuff.
But because that's different, like let's assume that our machine is not both a time dilation machine and like a wormhole. Even though wormholes don't actually work. But
wormholes are to the future as well.
Yeah, but they create paradoxes, and they are the reason paradoxes don't work and stuff.
But they're not.
Or they're
wormholes aren't backwards, are they? I thought they're just forwards.
I'm pretty sure they go backwards, or that's the theory.
Oh,
but
okay.
as we understand it, they can't go backwards because of the paradox issue.
Right, okay.
If they go to a separate timeline, then everything's just changed. Everything's gone.
That'd be cool. So wait, so all our theories on time travel are based on the idea that there's only one timeline?
Yes. We have theories for a multiverse, and that is how we're trying to explain traveling back to the past. But other than that, we can't really travel to the past because of the paradox issue. Okay. Like, there was another machine, you watched the National Geographic thing, where light controls gravity, and gravity controls time, and so this guy had this idea where if he had these lasers and they were intersecting, he could warp the space around it in order to create a modern time machine and actually go back in time. Well, the issue with that is, like, sure, you've done all the science and math and stuff, you can create a time machine, but you still have the paradox issue. And so you have to accept that either your time machine is creating another universe, or there's some laws that allow for paradoxes that we don't understand, that don't really make sense, right?
Or you have to accept the fact that you haven't like met your time traveling self yet means that you never do create. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
because
right.
That goes back to the theory that you're already living in.
But unless you're doing the theory of multiple timelines.
Right.
Because you could be in the timeline where you just never go back to yourself. You could be in the timeline that never has someone jump back into time into it, like we were saying earlier, where there's infinite number of universes and no one has jumped into this one because they had no need to.
Well, see, the time traveling doesn't. You don't get to pick the universe that you're going to.
Right, it's random. But if there's
no, it's not random. It's a parallel to the one that you're in right now.
Exactly, but there's infinite parallel.
Yeah, but you can keep doing that. You can keep moving it.
Exactly, but because there's infinite, there are definitely an infinite number of universes out there also that have not had someone travel back in time to yet. Assuming it's infinite.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I mean, in order to, like, if it's not infinite, then everything just crashes and burns. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
There has to be infinite.
For these theories to work.
Yeah, otherwise, again, if there's not infinite, then you get paradoxes, basically.
Right, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Was that your only theory on it, or?
What?
The going back to yourself and killing yourself and stuff, or do you have some other stuff on that?
On paradoxes?
Just on time travel. Just continue.
Oh, okay. Next topic?
Because you... Next topic of time travel.
Well, we didn't really talk about it, but like we didn't talk about what our responsibilities, like. So you're saying no, we don't have the responsibility to right any wrongs or to fix anything in the past. We don't have that responsibility, assuming it's just you. Like, just you find the ability to time travel.
Yeah.
Back in time.
If there's another person with you, then all kinds of moral issues arise. But if it's just you, I mean, not really. Like.
Okay, not really. Okay.
I know that's kind of a hedonist or whatever, but I mean, what is there? Like, at that point, you were like literally God, which we need to get into. But at that point, you were like literally God, and why does it matter?
Well, you don't have absolute control over time by having a time machine.
But you have absolute control over the universe because you can create different events in order to create anything you want.
Right, but that doesn't. I mean, you're still going to die.
Well,
not necessarily, but I mean, as far as we know, like, I mean, I guess you could jump to the future and try and figure something out.
Well,
but it's not like you have unlimited time.
Let's say
you're still aging throughout this whole process.
Let's say you're in. Our machine only goes back in time, right, for the scenario. Okay. Because if it goes forward, issues arise. But let's say you find a way to get around that. You take some device or some technology, some medical books or whatever, as far as we are right now, and you take them into the past, and then you teach those people all the stuff in those medical books or whatever, and then... No, because then you still have to jump forward in order to make it work. Yeah, I guess it doesn't work. You would still be aging, right?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Because, like, if you took it back and then jumped forward, you would jump to the same point in time that you were originally at. Technology would have advanced, way far.
Yeah.
But you still have to jump forward, so...
So it doesn't really help you that much to only go back.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you to extend your life.
You have to have a time dilation machine or a way to dilate time in order to...
get back to your
in order to
or
make yourself immortal and actually be a god.
You got to go to the future.
Instead of just living like one. Yeah, you have to.
Okay, so... Yeah, okay, so you don't have... So you're saying... So we've decided we don't have any responsibilities to anybody.
I don't think so.
Like, to like, stop JFK...
Do you have any arguments for it?
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility.
But even that falls when you are quite literally a god.
But yeah, you're just saying that you can create like a godlike experience for yourself.
Right.
But you're not actually changing you're not changing any of the moral questions that like a regular human being would have to ask themselves, you know what I mean? But you're saying you could.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, by like creating a world where everyone worships you or something?
Yeah. I mean, there's like... Just like if we did a morality episode, we would have to get into where morals come from. And if they're...
I feel like we talked about this in an episode where like... We talked about
does God exist, I believe.
We talked about like your beliefs and like how like a lot of them are just... You just known them for so long that you feel like they're a part of you.
Your convictions or whatever?
Yeah.
Right.
So you could change people's convictions to match...
You could change your own convictions too. I mean, once you start time traveling and seeing how meaningless all these other timelines are to you, I think you might become amoral.
Huh. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like Dr. Manhattan.
I have no idea who that is.
You've never seen Watchmen?
No.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Don't worry about it. Please don't explain.
He's just this character. He's like this character in this comic book called Watchmen.
I know of the comic book. I've never seen it.
You should read the book.
Okay.
And then maybe see the movie, but...
I totally won't, but... Dude,
it's so good, dude. But like Dr. Manhattan, he's like this all-powerful being, basically.
Mm-hmm.
he can like literally create matter, and he exists in all time, and he basically knows the future and the past.
Okay, so he's God.
Basically, but he essentially like gets tired and just kind of like goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And he just decides to like let everything happen that's going to happen.
So he's a deistic God.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, okay, so you don't have any responsibility. So let me just ask you this. You invent a time machine. You can travel forward and backwards. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
What would I do?
What would you do?
First thing I would do is travel as far forward as possible without killing myself in order to make myself immortal.
How would you know how would you know how far to go?
I would go in increments.
Oh, like
go 100 years, see where it's at. Go 100 years, see what's going on. And if I see things starting to go to crap, then I'll start going by 6 months.
Back it up?
No, just go for 6 months, see what's going on. 6 months, see what's going on.
So you'd want to check out the end of the universe? Or the end of the human race?
I mean, Stephen Hawking said he would like to see how the universe ends, but it's if you're there at the end of the universe, then you're gonna die too. So
yeah. Well, maybe he means just before to see how
right.
it ends.
But I wonder. Okay. Is there any? Does this time machine allow for visualization of the timeline?
No, you just have to go there.
Okay,
look.
You actually have to go there.
You have to get out and physically look around.
All right, maybe I would just, at first jump 100 years, but then later, just to stay safe, maybe start just going 10 seconds every 1 second instead. 10 seconds every 1 second just to stay safe. You know what I mean? And then live a whole day, and actually 10 days have passed. You know what I'm saying? Because you can adjust the speed at which you're going
But would
forward.
you get out and check it out every 10 seconds?
I mean, I assume it's a dilation thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you're in this vehicle...
Oh, so there's actual travel time. It's not
Yeah.
Boom,
There's got to be actual travel time.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay, so... Well, I mean, as far as we know, the Earth is going to blow up tomorrow. So you could go to 100...
I mean, as far as we know, it's not.
I mean, as far as we know, it could.
It could, but
or the sun could give out.
It's more probable that it's not. But
right, I'm just saying. But so let's say you go 100 years and there's nothing. Mm-hmm. The Earth is just a marble. There's no life on it.
The other thing is, you're going forward.
Would you go backwards? Would you go back and then check out, see how it?
Okay. We need to establish this. Does our machine instantaneously move forward, or is there wait time with time dilation?
I'm going to say instantaneously.
Instantaneously? Then all sorts of issues arise. You move forward and the universe ceases to exist. Are you there in the universe not existing?
In the void?
Yeah.
Well...
In the vacuum, would you just die?
Well, you don't instantly die if you're just in space, right? It's not instant, right?
Pretty close to it, I think.
Okay. Well, let's assume that your time traveling craft has some
support systems for the void.
Yeah, like a spaceship huddle.
But if there's no universe, then there's technically no space, right?
I mean, it just depends on what we're talking about. Is there just all the matter has collapsed into some sort of singularity or something? I mean, yeah, obviously you would.
If all the matter has, then there's still space, right?
I don't. I mean, it just depends on there's so many different possibilities to what it means. What it means for there to be nothing anymore. Are you just talking about there's no Earth?
Pre-universe.
I don't know if you could. Yeah, I don't think you could.
Right, so that's where it's dangerous, which is why instantaneous time travel forward would be extremely dangerous.
Well, how is it any more dangerous? You don't know that you're that you're on the cusp of, even if you're just traveling. It's not like you can look out the window. And be oh, look at the. It looks
why couldn't you?
Yeah, it looks like the Earth. It looks like the universe is about to collapse in on itself.
technically, okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh wait, it's instantaneous. We're not in a ship, so you can't, right?
You are in a ship.
Okay, let's say we're in a ship.
But it's instantaneous.
This is where the problems arise if you can't look out the window. Not that you necessarily.
Well, even if you were like,
window.
if you're traveling and there's wait time, that doesn't necessarily mean you're moving anywhere.
Right.
Necessarily.
So let's say you're outside the Earth, like in this ship, and time's traveling through time dilation somehow. You're not actually moving, and you can look out the window and see the Earth spinning and doing all its stuff through as years go by, and you can see when things start changing and stuff, right?
Yeah, you still will never know when you're on the cusp of the end of the universe. Like, how would you know you're right before the end?
That depends on how the universe is going to end.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
If the universe ends instantaneously, or if it's just there's some cause to it.
Yeah, exactly. So you would travel forward, see how you can extend your life, and then what would you do?
I don't know. Go a little crazy, probably. Like, I'm immortal, so let me just do everything I want to do.
Like, start a band?
That's what I want to do.
Would you check out the metal scene in the future? Like, would you take time?
First of all, it'd probably be bad, but actually, it could be really cool.
So like who knows? Like we probably in 100 years, there's probably gonna be like unrecognizable instruments.
Oh, for sure. If instruments at all.
Why wouldn't there? Well, there would be it would. I mean, it might be unrecognizable, but they'd still be playing something, right?
Do EDM people have instruments? On
they
stage?
have like MIDI controllers and
I guess
laptops.
Is a laptop an instrument or?
I mean, I technically, it can play music, so yeah.
Okay,
but
sure.
I'm just saying, like, they've got something, they're working with something.
Got an instrument in my hand.
But who knows, like, but yeah, maybe, like, in the future, you can, like, reproduce the sounds that are in your head.
We've talked about this.
We have?
I think so, yeah, because we were talking about how at that point, though, if you can just create the sounds that are in your head, everything's thrown out of technical skill and tone deafness and being able to sing and stuff. If you can just automatically create it, then everybody's creative. Like, I can't...
Not necessarily.
There aren't people who, like, can't make up a song in their head, right?
There are.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, you'd still... But even still, you'd still want to hear what somebody else is thinking. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
Well, we're not talking about time travel anymore. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
you listen to some, like, murderer, and it's just, like, some, like, death metal or some, like, crazy
No, just
screaming.
the sounds of people screaming.
Or just, like really, really loud white noise. Just, like, that would be pretty
That's
cool.
what murderers listen to?
I don't know. Like, not necessarily.
They probably have their own music that they like.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm a murderer, and I like death metal. But, I mean, what I'm saying is a psychopath could... Or someone has mental issues or something, you listen to what they're playing, and it could just be like some really disgusting white noise or something.
True.
White noise with feedback. You can feedback. Can you feedback through your mind?
I don't. Oh, because you're listening to it?
You're listening to it and you're thinking, so would you... Wait, is that the problem? Is that why we couldn't do that? Is because you would auto-feedback every time?
What if you... We need to do this. Is a whole other episode about the future of music.
Okay.
Do you have any more points on time? This.
Okay, we were talking about what I would do. I would just do whatever, right? What would you do?
Man, I for some reason my first thought was not to go into the future. It was to go into the past, but
that sucks, dude. You need to become immortal first, right?
Yeah, like my first thought was honestly like go back to like certain points in my life and basically like fix them, like make them.
That you're thinking way too small scale.
I know.
That scale is tiny.
I am. Like, I know. I'm thinking about making my present day life like as
comfortable as possible.
Yeah. like telling my 18-year-old self like, look, dude, buy like all the Apple stock that you can. invest in Google.
That's like stupid. You can do way more.
I know, I realize that. I'm just saying that was my initial thoughts. But yeah, I mean, the first thing to do would be like to figure out. Yeah, my first initial thought was just to fix things in the past. Like, not necessarily just for myself, but just like for other people. But I mean,
Aw, you're so kind-hearted.
but I mean, at that point, if you can really go anywhere and basically do anything, because you can basically have enough time to plan everything that you're going to do, so you can, you know, it's almost like what's meaningful at that point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because literally, anything is possible.
I'm glad I've convinced you. Let's go to separate universes and just like do whatever we want.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you'd eventually decide something to do, and I don't know what that would be.
I mean, at first you would probably. I mean, I would become immortal, and then I would.
That's both. Okay, that's.
Then I would try out a bunch of different timelines, see what's going on, see what it's all about. Eventually.
What do you mean, like travel to different points in the future and just see what's up?
And the past and stuff, and change things and see what happens, and you know, just live my life like literally any way I want. And then eventually I would probably create a universe where I could act as a god. And then I'd probably get bored of that at some point and then just like create.
Go back in time and change it?
Honestly, if I was immortal, I would start creating challenges for myself. Like create a life where I'm a prisoner and see if I can get out or something. And then, you know, like if you have literally infinity time, that would be entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Like see if I can do all these things and
yeah.
You know.
Well, I see what you're saying. I think I might, after I'm immortal, I think I might look back and before I actually do anything, time traveling, I might just think about everything, and then just decide that like see the futility in engineering everything, and then I might just like decommission the time machine, and then just decide to live forever. But that just only make decisions like a regular person and just live forever.
But that might be boring because if you've already traveled through a bunch of timelines and stuff, you already know what's all gonna happen.
Well, that's the thing, you don't. I mean, like, you'd obviously get to know people very well and like be able to predict, you know, and get to know like all these different cultures and stuff.
Okay, here's a question.
But that's the thing, like, because you're not living in an engineered world, like, people will still surprise you, obviously.
Right. Because you haven't experienced all 7 billion people and stuff.
I wasn't expecting that guy to do that thing, you know, even though I've seen a guy like him, you know, do this in that situation.
Would you go back to the small scale and like get some winning lottery numbers or something before you decommission the thing, so you could just live your life normally without a time machine, but a billionaire or whatever?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd make myself comfortable. Yeah.
No reason not to, right?
But, I mean, yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I would like to check out different eras. That would be hard. It would be hard for me to check out different eras. Being a minority.
Oh.
Because I would obviously check out all the Caucasian societies. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'd check out some... like, you know, ancient India, ancient Egypt, check out what's going on with the pharaohs and stuff.
Yeah.
Go back and baptize. Oh, you can see Jesus.
We will get to the God thing later.
Oh, okay. We will?
Yes, I have. I have some points on that.
Oh, okay. Like check out Jesus and see what's up.
Yeah, but
like, hey Jesus, are you
hang on.
God or what's going on here?
Hang on with that.
I mean, I've got a time machine.
Shut up, dude. You were talking about you being a minority thing. I don't think that would matter if you had a time machine and you could just be like, look, don't kill me, I'm basically a god. Well, I have magic.
No, I'm saying I would want to check things out, like, without, like...
just be a fly on the wall?
Yeah!
I mean, you could
Like,
probably
yeah,
do
like,
that.
you know, go back to, I don't know, like the Napoleon War. Just like watch a battle.
Are we talking this?
Revolutionary War, like just check out George Washington on a hill. Just like check
Don't want
out.
to get shot, dude. Don't want to get shot. Oh
I'll
wait,
just go back in time before that.
are we? That's not how that works. We already explained that.
Yeah, I'll go back in time, warn myself, be like, hey, dude, you're gonna get shot in this spot. Move.
I don't think that's how that works. But let's just throw that out the window and say that you're immortal elf-wise and immortal in the sense that you can't be like. I guess if you do get shot, you just go way to the future and be like, look, take this bullet out of me and fix it
Yeah,
up.
just go to the time that has the best medical.
Yeah, or I mean, okay. Probably get a suit of armor.
Well, I think if you travel far enough into the future, you'd probably be able to make yourself nearly.
Right. I think either a suit of armor or like cyborg stuff because.
Yeah, like a bionic body. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you get shot in the head, that's it. So you definitely need some kind of protection there.
Yeah. Well, apparently, according to Ray Kurzweil, in 2040 is the singularity time. So.
I hope so.
Well, we'll talk about that in another episode. Okay, more time travel. Do you have any more points?
You said.
Not on this issue, just on different issues.
Yeah, well, I want to. You said you would. You might just like take winning lottery numbers and go back to normal life.
Mm-hmm. If I was immortal, yeah,
I think
just live it out.
I think that's very similar to what I was saying though. It's like you would just live a life that has minor challenges and stuff. And I think that's like similar to what I would do is I would go to timelines where I could challenge myself even though I know I can get out at any point. You know, like being a prisoner or whatever. It's just a challenge.
Like zero risk,
Yes.
games basically. They just
Yeah.
basically life, everything. But just, actually, I mean, if you have a limited time and a time machine, you can basically do everything.
You don't necessarily have unlimited time because there is an end of the universe, but
you can always go back before that and
Exactly.
experience anything and everything.
right.
Yeah, so I guess I would do that. Yeah, we would probably just do everything eventually
Probably.
because we would just get bored. We would like be a millionaire in our present day, go back in time, just watch all the big moments in history.
Live through every literal iteration of your life possible. Like
Oh yeah, like
me saying that or me doing this right now or anything like that. Like if I didn't do that, I'd have to start over and live through the iteration of that way. Because if you have
you're talking
infinite
about-
time, then you would live through every possibility possible.
No, not necessarily, because if you're going back in time,
Mm-hmm.
you're not duplicating. You're not going back into your younger body.
Right.
You're just looking. You just be able to
yeah.
visit with your younger self.
That's true. So how would you couldn't really just go back in time, take apart the time machine and like live your life like normal.
Well, not if you want to do everything.
There-
Yeah, basically you'd want to avoid your younger self because you
Probably.
don't want to risk you not making the time machine.
Well, that screws up all the timelines and stuff, and that's where you not making the time machine doesn't matter if this time machine is creating different timelines.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's true.
Because that's getting into the paradox issue if there's one timeline, but there's not.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, like affecting your own life probably isn't a big deal to you since you've already got to the point of the time machine. Because that's the most important thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you would probably just go. I would probably go back in time and just watch all the big moments.
I mean, I would watch every moment if I had infinite time.
Well, I mean, come on. There's some pretty boring times in history.
Yeah, but you can affect it and just have some fun with it.
Yeah, but then you can't necessarily change it later, can you?
You're jumping back and then jumping forward in the same timeline. You go back, stop JFK getting killed, you go forward, just like you were explaining.
Look at it, okay? Then when you go
see
back...
what you did, go back, jump to other points, and yeah.
Huh.
Oh, okay, this creates the issue of there would be multiple immortal yous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well... I mean, since this is all hypothetical, we can't really get into any of that anyways.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
This is why in in fiction, like in like in Marvel
Back to the Future.
Yeah, any story where time travel gets involved. As soon as time travel gets involved, I'm disinterested, because as soon as you start putting that into the story, everything's screwed up and nothing can actually work.
Yeah, Terminator, that whole franchise.
Which is why I don't
totally jacked up.
I mean, I don't like it.
I mean, they're fine movies, but
Yeah.
oh well. I mean, the first two were great action movies. The third one was a huge drop off.
Everyone hated it for some reason.
Terminator Salvation was a little disappointing. It was enjoyable though. This new Genesis one, I don't know about it. But anyway, you can check that out on my channel. For
he is the movie guy.
Movie stuff.
But yeah, time travel screws everything
Josiah
up.
Sandu at YouTube.com. Just kidding. That's not it.
It's MeDob17 or something. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do we want to get into the religious thing? Or you got anything to say before we get into that?
Well, I don't know where you'd go with that. I mean, it's pretty basic questions. I mean.
Okay, well let's ask them just to get them out there. How does time travel work in a religious context? Would a deity, assuming a Christian God or Allah or whatever, would they allow for time travel?
Who knows?
Good job, dude. That's great. I love that answer.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, well let's talk about with the Christian God, it says he created time and he's beyond time. And the way I've had it explained is that there's one timeline and God is like sitting on the outside watching.
Right, kind of existing in all time.
Right. So if there's only one timeline, does that creator allow for time travel? Like, would he allow you to jump around the timeline? He couldn't, right?
Why not?
Because it creates the issue of...
like you could change up Bible stuff?
Yeah, history getting screwed up. Like, you could go back and see Jesus and be like, yo, yeah, what's up, nigga? You got some miracles to do? Oh, I know, let's say that.
I don't know.
This is a PG show?
This is a family show.
I'm sorry.
First of all, you shouldn't be saying that. You specifically, just you should not be saying that.
Oh, because I'm so white?
Yes.
Can you say it?
Yeah, of course I can say it.
You're not black, though.
Yeah, but I'm not white, so that's close enough.
That's not how that works.
There's only two races in this country.
White and black?
Yeah.
That's how it works. There's no in between, guys.
But anyway, no. Well, see, the thing is, it goes back to that first theory about how to fix the grandfather paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Which basically, we're already living in the reality that's been affected by time travel, if it ever does exist. See what I'm saying?
Okay. So, you're saying so the Bible and stuff is already accounted for people gaining a time machine.
If they ever do, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I don't see how it would. But...
As far as we know,
mm-hmm.
our past, everything before right now, was totally different, and it's been affected by a time traveler.
Exactly, because we have no, records of history and stuff aren't actually records of history. We can write them down, but it's not actually proof that that's what happened. Right?
Well, what I'm saying, I was talking about something more...
Go ahead.
Basically, I'm saying that we're living in a reality affected by time travelers. So as far as we know, we could have had totally different lives yesterday.
Exactly.
In maybe in a different reality.
Or in this reality. We experienced the Holocaust happening, but maybe the Holocaust hasn't happened at this present time anymore. Maybe in this universe, the Holocaust has actually no longer happened because But I have memories of knowing about it, so it has happened in this reality. Well, that's getting into whether your memories are.
Yeah, they've been affected by the time travelers.
Do they?
Yeah, that's the only way it works without being a paradox. You see what I'm saying?
How?
Because the reality that we're living in right now has already been affected by anybody time traveling. Okay?
Okay.
Or let's just assume that.
Or there were no time travelers, sure.
Or there were none. Okay, yeah. So if somebody traveled back in time, and maybe caused the Holocaust,
mm-hmm. That Hitler guy.
We know about it.
Uh-huh.
We have memory of it. So the only reason we have memory of it is because that happened. That something told us that in the past. Something told us that the Holocaust happened.
So what if, bear with me here, what if religious texts and stuff are not actually a supernatural being, but actually just a time traveler who created them for us to have a quote-unquote purpose?
Total possibility. I mean, we're living in the reality.
Whoa.
I mean, of course, well, I mean, it couldn't be solely written because we do have, like, artifacts from the time, you know, like...
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, the Israelites, we have, like, their stuff from, like, the
Right,
Red Sea or
but they
whatever.
set up the religion.
Oh, yeah, it could be totally manufactured. Oh, yeah, if they have a limited amount of time in a time machine, they have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, they set up all of the religions.
I don't know why somebody would do that. Like,
well,
if they have...
okay, let's say there's multiple timelines, and we have an instantaneous time machine. Could we go to different universes, like manufacture them, and then... Yeah, that's actually exactly how it could work. They could go back, create all these different religions, go forward, be like, oh, that's cool, and that's what we're living in. They're like, oh, I want to see the results of the universe that they created. Yeah, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, as far as we know, yesterday, there was no religion because the time traveler affected it to where... You see what I'm saying?
Well, we have records of that yesterday there was. That's what I was saying earlier with the memory thing.
But yesterday would be the record affected by the time traveler. See what I'm saying?
Oh. Okay, but they don't have infinite time in the sense that they can go back, stop time, physically write everything and create everything and manufacture it all, right?
Right, I'm just saying that, like, they took action 50 years ago, and that changed the sequence of events that led up to now.
Okay.
But everything that they changed, it rippled across into the history books and into our memory.
So you're saying when you do something at any point in time, it affects the past too, then?
No,
Because if it was just 50 years ago that they're creating the religion to go into our futures and stuff, then...
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was just talking about that was just an example. But basically, I'm saying, like, okay, if you went back to Hitler's time and you killed Hitler,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's say we're not time travelers, we have no idea about it.
Right.
We would just instantly, us right now,
Mm-hmm.
have no recollection of the Holocaust or Hitler.
Right.
Just instantly, and none of the history books would have it in there either.
Okay.
Because our whole history now has been affected by that guy's actions.
So
That's what I'm saying.
So we're...
But as far as we know, he did that yesterday, and today he decided that that's not a good idea. So now we instantly have all the memories, and that action rippled across all of reality, and now we're living in the reality that's been affected by him reversing the decision.
So we have no records of this event that he did.
No, because
anymore.
he's creating totally new realities.
But wouldn't
as
he
far
have
as
to,
we know, as far as we know,
have to do it before any... Okay, so he stops the Holocaust from happening, and now in our reality, the Holocaust didn't happen, and we have literally no records of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
Obviously, because it never happened.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm still thinking about the religion thing, how they would do that, though. They would have to be like way, way in the past to create all the religions.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's all, yeah. I'm just saying, as far as we know, yeah, somebody did that just yesterday. You know what I mean?
Just
but that rippled across.
Not the Holocaust yesterday, but some other event.
Yeah.
Some event that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Twin Towers #2, the sequel.
Well, they knocked over both of them, right?
1822. 9/11.
Oh no.
That would be the sequel to it.
That's terrible. Okay, any other points?
Oh, one more thing on the religion thing. If the multiple timeline theory is true, are there multiple supernatural locations such as heaven or hell?
It depends on if those are real or not. So I don't know.
Let's assume that there's a god. Oh, shut up, dude. Obviously, let's assume that there's a god, and he's allowing for time travel to happen. Can you time travel? Is time travel only allowed in the physical spaces, or
In these supernatural spaces?
in the physical spaces, not the supernatural?
Oh, so like heaven and hell is like a constant no matter what you do? Is that what you're saying?
They're beyond space time, so you can't travel to them through time travel.
Right, so you're essentially saying that like if you're a sinner, if you're a time traveling sinner, then like and you get shot, then you're still gonna go to hell, even if you're like
Right.
in like the
right.
1800s or something.
This is a theoretical issue I came up with because
It's kind of a moot point. I mean, it just depends on like what hypothetical rules you want to make up for.
right, but the past 30 minutes have been a moot point, so we're gonna talk about it.
Well, we've been talking about the different rules that might exist.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
but if you had an instantaneous time machine, all the stuff like you can't have an instantaneous time machine. None of it works.
As far as you know right now.
As far as we've basically explained through paradox issues and stuff.
Dude, 50 years ago we didn't even think black holes existed. Now look at that, huh?
They were a theory, though. I mean,
Time travel backwards and forwards is a theory right now.
time dilation forwards is a theory and has been proven through particles in a particle accelerator. Time travel backwards is a theory and has not been proven.
Right, neither had black holes.
Black holes have been proven?
Yeah, but before that they were just a theory. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying time travel could follow the same course.
Sure.
You see what I'm saying?
I just wanted to make a funny statement about this heaven and hell thing, and you cut me off.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So if there is a religion and God created a heaven and hell and a universe where time travelers are allowed to time travel throughout time and stuff, and all this stuff is allowed, then in heaven and hell, there would be a infinite number of people. Infinite numbers of clones of the same people, because there would have to be multiple timelines for the time traveling to work. And you would get to heaven and there would be like 50 billion copies of you. You would never find God. You would just be like, where are you?
You know what? There'd be a bunch of the same people in heaven and hell.
Exactly. You would have 50 billion copies of you and 50 billion copies of you in both. Like, that's why it's like ridiculous, which is why I brought up the religion thing, because if there is a God, then time travel gets like really screwy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or religion does, I don't know.
Religion gets, okay, that's fair. One of them screws up heavily when time travel gets involved.
Oh man, okay, any other points?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, I almost gotta go.
To school?
No.
Oh, I figured like school started and that's why you had us here so early. Guys, it's like 2 a.m. in the morning right now, so that's why I'm tired and yeah. It's a time travel joke. Okay,
those aren't jokes, just saying that it's not the time that it is right now.
It's a joke because if people don't know and then they see the light coming in, they're like, that can't be 2 a.m. And then
that's just lying. It's not a joke.
It's a joke because they would have to figure it out that this is the episode about time travel and that's where they would have to understand it. To me, it's a joke, okay? I think it's funny. Apparently you do too because you're laughing. So.
No,
you're laughing at the ridiculousness of me.
I think it's funny that you think it's funny.
Exactly.
That's what I'm laughing at.
That's all that matters. I gotta laugh out of it. Okay. It doesn't matter who I'm making fun of as long as people laugh.
Okay. Okay, any other points?
No, I think we're done. I mean, basically, before we do the sign-off or whatever, scientifically speaking, time dilation is our most realistic way to time travel, and that's only to the future. Time travel to the backwards would have to be through multiple universes, right? Mm-hmm. And through wormholes and different machines and stuff. You create paradox issues if you don't have the multiverse theory. And that's the only way it could work. All these hypothetical things we're talking about probably won't ever happen.
Right. Okay. Okay, here's a time traveling joke for you.
Is that XKCD or whatever?
I think so. Hey Rob, whoa, you're me. You're about to have an idea for a time machine. I am? Then he hits the guy over the head. Wham. Hey Rob, what's up? Nothing. This happens somewhere roughly once a month. Oh.
What?
The guy... Wait, what?
Oh, did you just like Google time traveling jokes?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, basically the joke was that if like the guy came up with time travel, but then he went back in time and erased his younger self's memory of how to make the time
and so
machine.
then he sits down at the computer again, and people ask him what's up, and he's like, nothing, because I erased my own memory, right?
Yes.
I got a hearty chuckle out of me.
Tonight I will attempt to travel back in time and change history. You'll know I've succeeded if Germany loses World War II and if Wednesday comes after Tuesday. Oh, he's saying that he did it.
Shut up, dude. Did it really take you that long?
Okay, these are funny. I wish I'd actually asked
Apparently we
Sarah.
have a joke section.
I wish I'd actually asked Sarah to go out so many years ago. Then he throws a penny into a wishing well. Then we travel forward in time. Hey, Sarah, it's me. Oh, he travels into a time warp back in time, and Sarah's a little girl. And he asks her out, and then he goes to jail.
That one's funny.
Okay, that's pretty much it.
That was the joke section of our podcast.
That was the joke
Next
section.
episode, we're going to have a joke section too.
Thanks for tuning in.
Hey,
What's
hey.
our topic for next week?
We don't know yet, and usually we don't spoil. By the way,
We should spoil it.
Should we?
Yeah, we should decide on air.
First of all, last week I commented about how you're going to be eating something every episode, and this week you're not eating anything.
I've got a Jolly Rancher.
Perfect. Okay, what is our topic? Dude, honestly, we would have to, like, look at that sheet on air.
Oh, I think it got wet and I threw it away.
Seriously?
Yeah, but I took a picture of it,
Okay.
and I think it was good enough to read.
Okay.
We should have, man, I wish we had, like, a real fan base. Then we could get, like, fans.
I know. Guys, give us topics, please.
Does not
have you
exist.
been
None.
seeing how many views we've been getting on these stuff? Dude, like 15 or 20 on some of them.
Double digits?
Double digits.
Oh, wow.
We love you. Please keep watching.
Age of the Earth. Are you a Christian? Christian versus secular media.
Wow, dude, stop spoiling all our topics.
Aliens.
Aliens
Mortality.
are the good ones.
Morality.
Mortality.
What is the purpose of living? Purpose of religion? Is cloning humans morally of something? Hedonism? Why not? Or why? Evolution? A theory or not?
You read that. Evolution's a good one, but let's not do evolution yet.
Health, abortions, homosexuality.
That one's a good one too.
Witchcraft. Merits of murder. Solipsism. Ethics of spoilers. Oh, that's the one I want to do.
Ethics of spoilers.
Spoilers. God.
Guys, he wants to do an episode on the ethics of spoilers. We're not a Seinfeld episode. We're not doing that. Also, homicide/suicide. I thought we should combine those. And the rapture, I think, would be a good one too.
Okay, well.
We didn't pick one.
There's our preview. It's going to be one of those or not.
Or not. Oh, free will would be a good one too.
Oh, we should have talked about that because then if we're time traveling, then who knows? Now,
Sure. I know what you're saying.
as far as we know, all our decisions have been affected by a time traveler. So who knows if we even have free will or not?
Or once we get the time machine.
Or what if somebody in the future has messed around with the timeline already a bunch, and like this is the best version that they could create of the world.
That would be cool. I mean, actually, that would suck because this world kind of is crappy.
But we don't know what they've compared it to.
That's true.
Ah?
That's true. I could be like really fat or something.
You could be dead.
I
But
could
no,
be dead.
there-
I think being really fat might be worse than being dead.
Well, in this world, that's true.
That's true.
But no, there's like a philosophical question that like, well, we would always ask ourselves in philosophy class.
Hang on. If you're really fat and watching this, I'm so sorry. I did not mean that.
He meant it.
I love you. Please keep watching.
All of you. But there's this question about like, if would the perfect God create the perfect world? And if so, if the perfect God exists and he created this world, then that would mean this is the perfect world.
Sure. And that's not relevant to time travel though, because I mean, in time travel, we're not creating a new God.
But I mean, unless God doesn't exist and just this world has been manufactured by time traveling.
Right. Or maybe the time traveler is the God and he created the perfect world.
Or
because,
the best.
Because he's had infinite time to become a perfect human being. Because he's all-knowing and all-powerful. Because he's immortal and stuff. And so he himself is God.
Whoa.
Is that everything?
Yeah, that's everything.
You know, people have commented on how each episode is getting longer and longer, and they're right. Every episode is like 5 or 10 minutes longer than the one before. The last one ended at 1 hour 34. This one's at 1:31. So
let's end it.
Okay.
We'll start the downward trend.
Okay. Leave your comments. Give us topic ideas. If you have any ideas about time travel and stuff, comment.
Troll hard.
Troll us hard. You can you can download this on SoundCloud.
Link in the description.
You can find Josiah at josiahsandu.com.
No.
You can find me at facebook.com/JacobCloudFilter. That's not actually it. Just find me. I'm not that hard to find.
Look for the hair.
Look for the hair. Actually, I'm wearing a scarf, I think, in the picture. Not anymore, because in time traveling, I'm actually gonna go home and change that picture, so it's not gonna be a scarf anymore. Even though right now it's a scarf.
Huh? You're the present. But not your present, because you're watching this in the future.
And because now, we didn't talk about that.
What?
There is no universal now because time is different in every location due to the massive objects. Bam, done, right?
Okay.
It is not. Whereas
we talked about it.
If it's if it's 12:49 right now, it is literally not 12:49 anywhere else in the universe because of the massive objects changing.
Okay.
That's scientific. That's how our satellites work and stuff. Which we did mention, but the point is that there's no universal now, which is another issue with time travelers. Is if you were to set in a time through a time machine or something, you have to set in a time and a very specific location because the time would be different elsewhere because of how time is different elsewhere. Seconds move faster in other places and stuff.
Okay, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Glad we explained that.